You know, sometimes I think the fine folks at Spike Chunsoft have a worst name competition in their office for some of their games. After putting out Danganronpa and key members working on this title, they go with Zanki Zero Last Beginning. It's like they're trying to make people avoid their games. I wonder how they're gonna name their next game. You guys, I've got a new game. Are you ready to hear the title? What do you guys think of Tronagi? What about Karn Soe? Fuck, I think I've lost him. The game starts off on a relatively dark mood with Glasses here jumping off a building. But then splash, he finds himself washed up on a beach and meets a cute amputee girl named Sachika. And you know a game has potential when there's an amputee in a 2019 release. As it turns out, Haruto, our jumper, is one of 8 people stranded on this little island. According to a 50s style Japanese children's cartoon, the world has ended and they're the last remaining humans on Earth. After that reality-shattering discovery, the TV also says they're clones that can be revived almost endlessly, but they still need to fix the cloning machine so their lifespan is longer than 13 days. In order to do so, our party needs to explore the ruins of other islands and scavenge some parts. And because it's a video game, they also need to fight a boss that's connected to one of their pasts. The story in Zanki Zero is where it really shows its Danganronpa roots. It's character-driven and interesting with its setup and themes. There are plenty of twists and turns even after the 2 major reveals in the prologue, and there's even that patented violence that you'd come to look forward to. That feel when the tentacle penetrates the wrong hole. Fucking, why did I write that? One of the best aspects about the story is how the game changes perspectives every chapter. You're not just stuck behind Haruto's eyes the entire time, and it allows the dialogue to flow a lot smoother because characters don't blurt out their innermost thoughts because you can actually read what they're thinking. You grow attached to each of the main cast, and their likability helps smooth over any quick shifts in character arcs that happen every now and then. The 2 Extend TV characters are also hilarious and provide much needed comic relief to the oftentimes over-the-top and melodramatic situations. The atmosphere of the game also sucks you in right away. The bleak nature of the post-apocalyptic setting on a set of islands is strangely relaxing, and this freedom complements the simple survival and RPG mechanics quite nicely. While the story is fantastic, the gameplay is more of a mixed bag. It's a first-person dungeon crawler survival game. It has RPG elements in it, but it's not turn-based like a lot of other entries in the dungeon crawling genre. It feels like a means to an end for the story. For a majority of the game, you'll be filling out your map, gathering materials, and solving the occasional puzzle. And outside of getting lost, or that one puzzle that requires you to read documents in the menu system to solve it, you won't have too much trouble. You'll also find the occasional enemy, but the combat is total shit. You have a normal attack, a charged attack, a tentacle attack, and can move in 4 directions. It's very basic, although the first-person perspective adds a little bit of a learning curve to the controls. Enemies have weak points that you can target with charge attacks, but you'll find yourself abusing the piss-poor AI more than anything else. I swear to God, it feels like you're bowling a short bus full of lobotomy patients. This clip is a fucking boss fight, and this is what it boils down to when you actually target their weak points. To make up for that deficit, they deal a shit ton of damage. You will die in one hit sometimes, which sounds like total garbage, but it highlights Zanki Zero's most interesting gameplay element. It's a survival game that encourages you to die. Because they're clones, every time a party member dies, you can revive them at the arcade cabinet-looking extend machine using some of the points you've acquired by killing enemies. The cool part comes from them getting resistances to whatever killed them or led up to their death if they had a status effect. Instead of getting punished, you get a reward when your characters bite the dust. What's that? You're saying you died from starvation? Well, congrats! Now you won't lose stamina nearly as fast anymore. This is honestly the most novel idea ever accomplished in the survival genre that I've played. It gives the high damage output from enemies a silver lining, and actively encourages you to die in new ways. Another innovation that adds a little more depth to the gameplay is the aging system. Because clones, your characters age faster than Solid Snake, which switches up their stats and skills. So planning what cycle of life you want to be in for the boss takes a little strategy, because fighting as old men and children isn't exactly ideal. One thing that still sucks though are those menu systems. You're gonna be stuck in those things for a while. The standard survival game babysitting nonsense is all there too. It's not too cumbersome, but you still have to manage your stamina with food, health with stamina by resting, and stress with water. Oh, and going to the bathroom. That one is easily the worst. Like, are you fucking with me? You had 3 days without a bathroom. Just go in the goddamn corner again. Speaking of corners, don't stand in them. Outside of potentially stepping in pee, enemies will ruin your day if you get caught there. So it would have been nice to have some way to get out of those tight situations, because it can easily Thanos snap away half your party, especially if those fucking scale boars are involved. Anyone who puts gameplay above all else may want to pass on this one. However, the innovations to the survival genre and the memorable story more than make up for the slew of issues coming from the gameplay. If you're still on the fence though, there's a free demo that'll keep your progress should you take the full plunge. In conclusion, Zen is best boy, Yuma is best girl, and yes, you should play Zanki Zero. Thank you guys so much for watching. Full disclaimer, I did receive a review code from Spike Chunsoft on behalf of Bago Games, so there is also a written review somewhere in the description. I'll link it later. Anyway, I have more videos to come. Later.